Max is also open in the background. The patch running. You can just, once that's set up, you can ignore it, and I'll do that in the same video as the MIDI setup. So, first of all, to load up native control, it's on scene 16. You just hold down scene, select scene 16. The native mode comes on. Looks, quite unexciting, as you can see. So the buttons, we'll start with these three down here, which match what we have here on any of the tracks. So we're on track 1. The top one would be the mute. If you turn it on, then the track mutes here, and you get feedback. The second is the solo button. The third is the arm button. I've got nothing in on that, but if we go on to the MIDI, you can use these to go from track to track, so we'll do that. That's on the MIDI track now. We can arm it. If you go back to the first one, show you how these are. If we solo this one, this shows you that this track is armed. We go back to this one, this track's soloed, turn the solo off. So they're quite simple, as you'd expect. Right then, these buttons up here, you've already seen that these go from left to right on the tracks. That's part of the emulation of the transport. For the rest of the emulation, you have to turn the emulation on or off. This pedal button here toggles it on or off. So we'll turn it on. There are then modes. To hold the modes down, you hold down the shift key. This used to be the enter key. This is a shift key for a lot of functions on the padKontrol. In Transport, you use it for two things. The first of which is to go into the different modes. So you hold the key down and then you use the left and the right here to go through the modes. First mode is global. Second mode is volume. Third mode is loop. Fourth mode is send. So loop's arrangement loop. Anyway, back to the first mode, the global mode. It displays the tempo in BPM of your live set. The encoder has two functions. The normal function, or the first function, and you hold down shift and it provides the second function. So the first function of the encoder, if we look up here on the screen, is to move up and down the scenes. So those go up and down the scenes, which along with your left and right allow you to select whatever you want, So I can easily select clips. If you hold down the setting key to get the second function, and we look up here at the BPM, then as I turn the encoder, you will see the BPM up here in increments of 0.1 of a beat per minute, and on the screen on your padKontrol you get feedback of that. So the second mode, you hold down shift again, across to the second mode is volume, which shows us the volume of the track. We'll turn the encoder to the volume, and you will see here on the track that the volume is changing. So that's the volume. And then the second will be the panning. You hold down the shift key again and turn, and we have panning. I'll just move the mouse out of the way so you can see that a bit more clearly. There we go. So that's panning of the track. Next mode again, it's the arrangement loop. So up here in Ableton, this button turns the arrangement loop on and off. That's a function I should probably program into this padKontrol native hack, but I haven't yet. To be honest, I've got a lot of extra functions outside of it using auto hotkey, which do that for me. So, also and using Bones MIDI translator as well. But that's all a bit beside the point for now. This shows you the beginning of the arrangement loop. Just press tab to go into the arrangement, and then you can see the loop a bit more clearly. The loop is here. We'll zoom in a little on that. So this is the beginning of the arrangement loop. As you move it, you'll see it moving, and you'll also see the feedback on the padKontrol. Using the encoder on the padKontrol, you can move this about, as you can see. Then this one up here is the length. Down shift and using the encoder, the length changes. These dots here are to show the quarter beats within a bar. The number shows you the number, the bar number. Then the dots. The first bar you have one dot, second beat, a second dot, third beat. Seems to have gone a bit too far there. Okay, well, you get the idea anyway. So switch back into the session view. This is our audio track that we have selected. The sends is the last version. So we go into send mode. Turning the encoder, you see this send changing. We should have feedback here, but we don't, so this might be a bug. Holding down shift changes to different sends. Okay, we do have feedback now, which shows you the level at which the send is set at. So that doesn't seem to be working perfectly, but never mind. Anyway, the knobs also control the sends, as does the XY pad. To assign the knobs, we'll exit transport mode because you use the encoder for assigning a lot of functions on the padKontrol. So, and obviously the encoder is also used in the transport mode, so you exit transport mode when you want to use the encoder for other things. You use the knob assign buttons, this for this knob, the second one for the second knob, exactly as it used to be. And if you hold down shift and use this, then you can control the x-axis, shift and this, then it's the y-axis. So we'll just set the knob initially. Knob 1 is going to be set to, you've got 1 to 8, these are for macro controls, and then send 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is part of the Mackie control emulation, which could provide 8, I just naturally use 4, as you can see from my setup here with my sends. So we shall select send 2 on this knob, and this knob could be send 1, which is occasionally a little slow to work. So send 2 seems to be working quite happily. We'll change this down to send 1. Send 3 there. And now send 1 is working. So if we just ignore those for a minute and start this track playing, then we can control our sends. On the first send we've got some kind of reverb, delay. Second send is so that's the sends in action. Then obviously we also saw that there were macros, so I should assign these onto the macros. Knob 1 is the first macro, knob 2 can be the second macro. We shall set X to, this is what it looks like here, the 5th, and Y to the 6th. So those are all set. We'll start the audio playing again. And then we'll select, this is an EQ I've got on the channel there. So we've got knob 1 is on 1, or should be, knob 2 should be on 2, the X axis should be on 5, and the Y should be on 6. So then knob 1 we should see these things changing. Knob 2 will be the mid. Knob 1 again. And then the x-axis and the y-axis. As you can see with the X and Y pad, you have these both things. You know, it's very hard not to control both parameters at once. So if you want to just control one, then you simply hold down the knob button. That allows the X to be controlled without anything happening on the Y. If you hold down the Y, then you can control it that way without anything happening on the X. Right then, so that's all the functionality of the knobs, the transport emulation, and the pads. Sorry, these three buttons which act with arm, solo, and mute. The pads I will do a second video on, which will explain all of those.